everybody, welcome back to another video. Today, Spencer's joining me again, and we're kind of just gonna be going over a couple of our breedings that we have planned for this season. So, stay with us through the video. We will talk about some interesting things, but it is kind of like a lower key video in that there's not a ton of action. So, anyways, but some exciting stuff. So, let's go ahead and get into it.
Yeah, obviously all the adults are information, so we can't really show them. So we'll just put pictures of the ones we're talking about up on the screen for you. Hopefully you guys can follow along. But anyways, yeah, let's go.
Yeah, so anyway, for this 2025 season, which is crazy that it's 2025, because I remember like making plans for this year like years ago, and talking about it and stuff. And anyways, 2024 was supposed to be like a huge like stepping stone year for us, and it was, absolutely. But then 2026 is supposed to be really big too. 2025 is like, there's a couple of new cool things that we'll see, and possibly some first evers for summer snakes, which will be really exciting. And so, but anyway, so over the past, I don't know, couple weeks, I've been like, brainstorming for breedings and stuff that we'll do for this season. I like to do that when they're in brumation, and I just have like a list that I use, and I go through and I like match things up. Or sometimes I come out here to like their empty racks and I'll look at them and pair things up, just depending on like what we're looking for. And so sometimes it's helpful to look at like make a project list. And so I do have one of those. We have a big Word document, and it has like all these projects on it that we want to do. Some of those are the top secret ones, so we won't talk about all of those. But
yeah, and we also don't breed like the same things together every year. So
not usually.
We try and do
Sometimes.
something new for us, keep it interesting, keep it exciting for you guys, anyways.
Yeah, no, that's true. I mean, some things do get bred continuously. Year to year, just because it's either really popular or it's like locality stuff, and so we keep that stuff together a lot of the times. But yeah, we do like to just try different combinations and things like that. So typically I'll like look at a project, and maybe it's, I don't really know, I don't know which one it could be, but we'll just say well, the first one on the list is about blizzards, so why don't we just talk about that? So blizzard sonorans. So I want to produce more blizzard sonorans, and so we have like a few different animals that can like help produce that. And this coming year, I actually have a pair of visuals that should be old enough to produce, and so we're working him into the rotation with the other females that I have to produce blizzards, and that's kind of exciting. So I'll like look at that, I'll see, okay, I have this great male, and I'll put him to like these two females to produce just blizzard stuff. And then I have a backup male, which is the xanthic head albino. And then he can rotate through if it seems like the blizzard is missing people, then we can do that. And so that's usually what I kind of start like trying to do to organize my thoughts. Because when there's like, I don't know, 70 or 80. So there's like 60 to 70 potential females that could produce this year. And some of those, I'm saying potential because they're a little young, maybe. They're 3 years old, but they could maybe produce. They're big enough and stuff. And then there's a couple of other females that like we just might not pair this year, just based off of the male. There's not enough male availability maybe for that project or something like that. Or we just don't want to produce it again right now, possibly. So anyways, so there's like a lot is what I'm saying. When there's, 50 plus, you definitely want to sit down and take your time and look at your options. So far I have, this says that I have 51 paired up, but I feel like there's more than that. So that's funny. But anyways, and so anyway, yeah, I went through this list, and this was just in alphabetical order. And so we might jump around between gophers, pines, and bulls just a little bit. But so in the first ones on this list, there is the Blizzard Sonoran Project. And so like the albino head xanthic female that I have, obviously I'm going to pair her with that blizzard male. And that should give us a very high percentage of blizzards, hopefully. and then everything should be albino, right? And so anyways, and then we should produce just albinos and blizzards is what that whole clutch would end up being. So, and that's awesome. That'd be great. And then another one is just another blizzard project would be just, I'm going to try the blizzard to blizzard. It's a little bit further down the list. It's down here. But anyway, so I'm going to do that. And then, so hopefully I'm actually hoping for better odds this year because our generic Sonorans, did not work out last year at all. I think the whole clutch went bad, which some of that might have been attributed to like the incubation issue that we kind of did run into. But anyways, so, a couple of these other things are, we're planning to produce some more albino Christmas Mountains. So remember, that's the pure Locality, Sonorans. And so far this line of albino has been proven to be unique to that locality. So far, I am doing other test breedings to prove that it really is a new strain of of albino. And so I'm still working through those things. I did do a test breeding last year of a head albino to one of the visual albino females, and there were 0 albinos in that clutch. And so that was pretty telling, although it could have been terrible odds, but so far, it is actually looking decent to maybe be a new line. We're not necessarily coming out with that just yet because I'm still trying to prove that out. But there's definitely potential for us to be able to prove that out this year, that it is a unique line. And so that would be really exciting.
Yeah, for sure.
Actually. So anyways, that'll be fun. So that's like another one up there. Some other stuff up here. Oh, some of the San Diego projects. Yeah. So this year we will actually be producing our first Applegate San Diegos. And so that'll be pretty exciting. We haven't actually produced, I produced albino San Diegos, right? Those were my very first ones I ever produced. But then I sold off that project a long time ago. And these are my first Applegates getting back into it. And so anyways, I'm kind of excited because I really like the San Diegos, and so that'll be fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
What about this one?
Oh yeah.
Because that'd be like our first pet.
Yeah. So we have a really young albino Ocean County pine snake, northern pine, and so she is Locality. A Locality morph, right? So albino Ocean County. And anyways, and she is just a 3-year-old, but she is absolutely massive.
Yeah, she's big.
I just showed Spencer her yesterday. I think it was yesterday. Yeah, anyways. She is huge. Yeah, that's all. And so anyway, we were thinking of breeding her to one of our nice high white northern males, because I don't have a visual albino male old enough yet to produce those, but we could still keep it Locality. And my thoughts were kind of along the lines of, and what's funny is we kind of touched on this in the Q&A video a little bit about like the question that was asked was, which one's better to pursue, or I don't totally remember how it was worded. Yeah, long-term potential for the northerns, the albino, or the high contrast, right? Black and white. And so anyway, so I'm thinking of breeding one of my high contrast males to this albino female. It'll all stay Ocean County, which is great. But maybe we could, everything would be het, of course. But potentially adding in more of that really stark contrast could help clean up the albinos even more, potentially. And I'm not really sure how albino might influence that. But anyway, it'd be something fun. You just produce hats the first year, but...
Yeah, so that'd be like a first-time breeding for us.
Alright, some other cool stuff that we're doing. Some of the bull snakes we can talk about really quick. Just some more of the patternless projects, different things that we're trying to go for. Of course, we'll be producing more axanthic patternless from the Balam line. We are going to try and really get the Miami patternless kind of stuff going. So it's something that we're working on because you don't see them. They're not very common. And so we're going to start trying to work on that too. And so that's, I think, a breeding that we're doing this year. So we'll be producing that kind of stuff. Hopefully we'll produce some other albino patternless too. hopefully we'll just hit good odds on that kind of stuff. And the ghost patternless, remember that like surprise clutch that we had where I was like, I don't really know exactly what this is, but this is what it looks like. Anyway, so we did produce like our first ghosts last year that I like confirmed. Although funny enough, like we've produced them in the past and I didn't recognize it.
Yeah, we sold them and didn't even know.
Yeah, so some people have seriously gotten some bonuses because I sold some ghost patternless and also hypo patternless Trumbauers, and I sold them as like normal patternless or normal xanthic patternless. So anyway, but guess what? We're there now, and and I can like recognize them a lot easier now that I've actually like been working with them longer. And anyways, so good for those people. Yeah. Anyway, but yeah. So anyway, so some other patternless projects that we're working on. Some interesting projects actually with the patternless stuff too. I know we talked about we'll produce the Stillwater patternless for the first time this year. So the other line of hypo, and we're excited about that. So we actually have like multiple breedings that could potentially produce those. I think there's like 2 or 3, I think at least, maybe even more.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, and that'll be really exciting because you don't see those very commonly in the industry. And so far, the visuals that we have are just, they're super stunning. And I think that they could definitely just get better and better. Especially with, you know, I don't mean to sound like this, but especially with somebody working with that a lot more. And so I'm excited for that personally. So yeah, that's like a bunch of like the patternless stuff for the bull snakes. Which patternless is a super popular gene. So we're definitely working on a lot of different patternless stuff. Other combos too. Within patternless, like I said, the ghost and
xanthic albino.
Yeah.
Some white side stuff.
Yeah, different stuff like that. You know, I talked about trying to make a really clean, high, white-walled, patternless white side because I think it'd look really cool. So we'll see. Anyway, so some different stuff like that for patternless. Maybe even some special patternless projects of a redder sort of nature. Anyways, that's all I'll say about that. So, anyways, exciting stuff there though. It could be really cool. Of course, I think one of our most exciting projects overall for the bull snakes is our tigers.
Yeah. So last year, 2024, obviously, first year producing tigers. So that was a big year for us. Mm-hmm. Trying to do the same thing this year. Same breedings or different?
So I did switch a couple of the breedings of tiger to tiger. So some of those are going to be different actually this year. But we'll still get some really great results, and we'll still be able to produce albino tigers. Hopefully the white-sided tigers, which I think we might actually start calling white tigers as like a little key name. But they're just white-sided tigers. It's easier to say white tiger, to be honest, rather than white-sided tiger. So, or white-side tiger. Anyways, so we might call those white tigers, but it's not a new thing. It's just, okay, so not renaming anything here just yet. But anyways, so hopefully we'll be able to produce some more of those. You know, last year we only produced the white-side tiger and then an albino white-side tiger. As far as
might be hypo.
Yeah, that one might be hypo. And so we only produced those 2 in terms of like the white tigers. And so hopefully this year we might get some better odds on that. And then we produced the albino tigers last year. We should produce more of those. And then the hypo tiger stuff too. We did produce a couple of those. And so we should be able to replicate that again. And then, so last year I think we only bred as many as 5 tiger clutches. No. Oh no, I tried for a 6, but it didn't work. So we did the 3, 4, 5. I think there was only 5.
I don't remember.
I think we only did 5 tiger breedings. And this year, well, let's just say I upped it to like, I don't know, 8 or 9 at least. So
not that we have more tiger females that will produce.
No.
We're using males.
Correct.
For some other things.
Yeah. So, anyways, what we've been saying is we have these really exciting projects that we are working on. It's probably, I don't know if it's the most exciting one for me this year, but the tiger stuff is definitely up there for me in terms of like, it's something so new still, here in the States anyway, that hasn't really been worked into a lot of stuff. And so it's exciting to be able to like produce something that's new, at least to like us, and it's not something that you see very commonly. So
yeah, and the blood gene that came over with the tiger, we're trying to still figure that out and put that into other stuff that could make some awesome snakes. So
yeah, yep. Yeah, so anyways, so we have a lot going on in terms of those projects. Definitely some new combos that will hopefully be coming soon. Of course, from what we've experienced so far, we are still saying that tiger is a recessive gene. And so all of our breedings have gone along with those lines so far. And so it will take longer, obviously, to work it into some of these projects and stuff. And so, you know, we might not really see the fruits of these projects for a couple years still, but we're starting them now to hopefully in a few years be able to produce some real knockout morphs. So it'll be really cool.
yeah, exciting.
Yeah, definitely. So anyways, let's hear what else.
Producing some more ghosts.
Yeah.
Miami Stillwater. And then the ugly ghost.
No, it's not.
The Tremor Bellum. Also, we took them off where last year we didn't produce any because we did just other breedings. But this year we're planning on going back and producing Tremor Bellum ghosts as well as the Miami Stillwater. Those always seem to be popular, so we should have some hopefully if everything goes well.
Yeah, we'll see. I think I'm going to produce some. That's the plan right now. Things could change by the time we start breeding because we don't actually start breeding until towards the end of February. So we still have like a month and a half almost. So anyways, I might change my mind.
Yeah, maybe.
Maybe. All right, yeah, what's on that next one?
Let's see.
Some
Hanum hypo stuff.
Yeah, the Hanum hypo gene is so interesting. And so, anyways, in terms of other projects for that, we are starting a couple of different projects actually for the Hanum stuff, which I know there's other breeders that are also doing that, which is really exciting because it's also something that's like fairly recent, we can say, that hasn't really been worked into many other morphs. I mean, it's in the albinos, and I have the white sides, so I have the Hanum white sides, but I really don't know that I've actually seen it in hardly anything else. No. I think that's like the only things I've really seen it in.
Yeah.
Yeah, so if you guys have seen any other cool Hanum morphs besides albino or white side, that would actually be really interesting. I'd love to see them.
Like a ghost. Big xanthic into it.
Yeah, see. Thanks for giving that away.
We can cut that out.
Anyways, no, but Hanum, as it is right now, we are considering as a third line of hypo, right? And so, you know, technically it could create some other really pretty morphs that we haven't really seen when combined with other things. So it could be really neat. And so we're gonna start a couple. I think there's just like 2 other breedings this year for those where I'm trying to do a little bit of outcrossing to see if we can start some other projects to see what kind of cool results we could get with that. So yeah, that'd be exciting. So yeah, working on that. Let's see, that's more Stillwater Miami Ghosts, which this past year, right? While you're looking for the next one you want to talk about, you know, we produced some really beautiful Stillwater Miami Ghosts, and I really am attributing a lot of those really beautiful light colored ones that I know I've shown before on camera to the fact that it's the high yellow line of the Stillwater hypo. And so I'm really working to breed mostly just my very high yellow males to these other females to hopefully produce just like even better looking ghosts that have that just beautiful, nicely spaced out patterning with like that beautiful, like, it's like very silvery gray kind of, I don't even know how to describe it, but that one male that I always show, he's literally, which cage is he? He's this one right here. So this is him right here. And then the female I kept is actually right next to him, but
we'll put them up on the screen for you.
Yeah, we can take some pictures. But anyways, so I'm hoping to produce more like that because I feel like them coming out that nice, like we haven't really seen that as much before. I've produced some really pretty ones, but those ones were just, they were so different. They were just so much better. From what I like in my opinion. I still like the other versions, the darker versions too. I don't even know what to call them. Light face and dark face maybe or something. But anyway, just super pretty. So I do want to produce more of those because that's one of my favorites.
All right, and something else that we've talked about before that will be our first time producing this year is the Kentucky pines.
Oh yeah.
So that'll be cool.
So it's not necessarily a new species per se, because Kentucky pine is still considered a northern pine. So it's still Melanoleucus, but it is like technically a locality, right? And so, although the funny thing is there are localities of Kentucky pines. And so, I don't know, I feel like that might be slightly confusing, but there are like localities of the Kentucky pines, even though the Kentucky pine can almost be considered also a locality because it is the same, it is the same subspecies as just your northern pine snake. So, anyways, maybe that's a little confusing. I wonder if eventually they'll make a separation there. Yeah, probably not. But anyways, but yeah, no, the Kentuckys, hopefully they do give us a great clutch this year. That'd be really exciting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Cool. All right. Couple others. The Lohitas Patternless, which didn't have a great year last year, but
no, last year was straight up booty. Like it was so bad. And part of it was because I did try to use a new male, and he was a young male, and I didn't brewmate him. I tried to use him last year to breed all three of the females to produce the Lohitas Patternless stuff, and he just did not really breed well. And so I was trying to use the other male to back them up, and it was kind of too little too late. We did end up with a couple eggs, but then we had the incubator problem. And a lot of the later clutches last season were the ones that were on that top shelf that kind of just got fried, more or less. And so, yeah, last year didn't really work out for those. But this year should hopefully work out. We should have at least 2 clutches that have the potential to produce more of the straight patternless.
Yep.
So that would be awesome.
All right, and then some other ones. Those cystic Florida pines. First year potentially producing those, right?
Yeah, those are young. They're 3 years old. We didn't brewmate them though. Although, actually, I was just talking to Spencer. We might do a really short, quick brewmation for some of these 3-year-olds. Actually, I might try it this year. So I fed them last week, but I'm gonna stop feeding them now. So they didn't eat this week. So I'm thinking I'll stop feeding them. Give them another week at least. So usually like 2 weeks, right? And then I think I might actually cool them for a period of just a couple weeks until we pull everybody else out, which by that point, they'll only go down for like 3 weeks, maybe.
Yeah.
It would be a short turnaround, but it might actually be enough to cycle them for the upcoming season. And I've never tried like a really short brumation like that for some of these 3-year-olds because for me, I like to keep my 3-year-olds out in the room, what I mean. And feed them more because a lot of times they're like kind of just hitting like that really great growth spurt after getting onto rats. And so these guys are just getting to the point where they're able to take medium rats, which is really like, it's a big step for them. But I mean, they're plenty big enough, definitely. And so, but they've gotten these past couple months because I stopped feeding mid-October, right? So they've had all of November, all of December. They will have a couple weeks in January and then the couple weeks in October that they still ate. So almost 3 more months of eating to help get them a little bit more size. So anyway, we might try this quick little brumation for them and see if that can even help us get a little bit better odds on producing out of these young snakes. Yeah. So I'm excited to try it out. I'll let you guys know about the results. So
we'll have some more northern pines. The Depai, or sorry, Depai Jani. No Depai yet.
Yeah, the northern Mexican pines. Yes.
What did I say?
The northern pines.
Oh yeah, northern Mexican pines.
Yeah.
We have that young female with the stripe that we kind of showed in another video.
Yeah, we'll see if she'll produce or not. She is a 3-year-old too, and she's definitely put on a lot of size. Yeah. So we'll see. She might be one that we throw in the brumation for the couple weeks too, because she has really put on a ton of size recently. And 3 years old is like pretty mature. Although with the Jani, I do tend to usually wait a little longer. So we'll see about her. But there will be at least 2 other clutches of Jani that we're trying for sure. So we should produce some pretty ones this year.
Definitely. All right. And I don't know what we could talk about on this page.
Like I said, there are a lot of like special projects I feel like they were working on this year, which is great. But not all of them, it's hard. It's not that I necessarily want to like keep it a secret, but I really want to see it come to fruition before I like want to talk about it a ton. I don't know. Anyways, but there's a couple different things on here, you know.
You want to talk about these ones?
Yeah, we just have some more San Diego clutches that we're working on, and so we have some of the other T-positive lines that we're working with here. And so I was going to switch up some of the breedings. So last year, like I did a dyer to a striped dyer, and this year I'm going to switch that up. I actually wanted to breed the Envy Snow that I got from Jason over to the striped dyer, who I also got from Jason. Anyway, because we'll be able to actually make some het stripes. Because I love the stripe gene in the San Diegos. And probably my favorite combo morph is like the Envy Snow, right? So a T-positive anery. And so I love that. And the striped one, sorry, I keep hitting that. And the striped version of that is super pretty. We actually picked up that one. I know we just posted about it the other day.
Yeah.
We picked up one, and I think it'll just get the best contrast. And so anyways, so I plan on like doing that new breeding. So depending on whether she's het anery or not, we could potentially just make T-positives that would be double het for stripe and anery, which would be fine. That'd be all good. And so, or, you know, we could potentially prove out that she might be het anery for all we know. Genes do get passed on, oddly enough, through generations sometimes. So maybe her, you know, great grandsire, I think is the proper term. Anyways, in snakes, not granddad. Anyway, could have had anery, and I could have skipped so many generations. And so maybe, you know, you never know. But so, and then I was also gonna breed the Envy Snow to one of the super hypos. Females that I also picked up from Jason a number of years ago. And so just, you know, anyway, it would produce T-positives that are het aneries and stuff like that. And so could be some cool combinations there. Obviously, a lot of our San Diego stuff is young. And so...
Yeah, we bought into a lot of different San Diego projects this year. Mm-hmm. So a couple years, and those should be some exciting breedings.
Yeah, it's actually insane how many morphs there are in San Diego's, just because of how small of a locality it actually is, to be honest. Well, locality, but also subspecies, right? So San Diego's are their own subspecies of Anactens. And I know other people say that differently, but anyway, that's how I've always pronounced it. So, but yeah, they're super fun, and there's a lot of diversity within them. And typically they stay a little bit smaller, and in most cases, I find that they're nice, but I know there's a few individuals that have a bit of a spicy attitude, and that's fun for me too, but not as fun for other people. So, anyways, yeah. So some cool San Diego projects that we'll try and prove out this year, which will be fun. And let's see here. It's more Asiatic patternless stuff right there. It's more tiger projects. Oh, those Hanem hypo projects I mentioned. One other cool projects that we're I don't know if it'll turn out or amount to anything, but we can share it. It's fine. So if you guys remember, we posted this reel of a Trumbauer hypo male that we have here. Just I don't know how long ago it was. Just like a month ago, maybe within the past month.
Yeah,
probably. Anyway, and he was that really pretty hypo with all the red saddles and stuff throughout him. And anyway, he's incredible looking. And I wanted to breed him back to actually his clutchmate, his sister, who's also just a hypo, but she looks absolutely nothing really like him. She doesn't have the same kind of red at all. And so I wanted to see if his red would amount to anything by breeding it back to something that's related, of course. Because it really didn't come from the parents. The parents of him were seriously a hypo yellow white side and a hypo snow. And neither of them obviously had any of that red kind of coloration. And so it has reminded me, and I mentioned it in the video a little bit, of like that old kind of, it wasn't a different line necessarily of hypo. I don't think it was just like another color characteristic of the Trumbauers. I don't even know really what they would have called it necessarily, but I remember it being called something like the raspberry line, or I know I've heard a couple people maybe say it's the strawberry line. And so, but anyway, some sort of fruit maybe. And so, anyway, I'm going to try to see if maybe we can reproduce that, if it's reproducible, and possibly it could have been that sort of old line where they did have like those red saddles that came through, and he is just so pretty. And so I would love to replicate it if it's possible. And so we will be doing at least that breeding that could potentially bring back something that breeders back in, that was probably back in like the early 2000s, probably like 20 years ago. So
yeah,
it was a long time ago. It was before my time in the pet industry. And so that line, those were kind of lost as far as I'm aware. You can't really find them. But who knows? Maybe it's possible that we had some old genetics passed down through some of these lines that we were able to pick up, and maybe it'll produce something really cool. We'll see.
Yeah.
So, anyways, I really don't know if there's anything else to share. Alright, well, I feel like we didn't really go through that much. I know it seems like maybe that it didn't feel like 50 plus females breedings that we went over, but it is pretty exciting stuff. I don't know, which one are you most excited about for this year?
You're not gonna let me tell them.
Oh, okay, well, which one is your second most exciting?
I mean, all my favorite ones I'm not allowed to say, so.
Okay, well, is it tiger? Is it tiger stuff?
Yeah, obviously the tigers and the Patternless stuff. Both of those are always awesome. Especially because the tigers are new to us and most of America, so.
Yeah, no, I'm really excited for the tiger stuff too. Even some of these patternless projects, a lot of that stuff has obviously been worked with for patternless, but it's always exciting, to produce something for the first time in-house, right? And so even though it might not be a world first, it's still like a first here at Summer Snakes, which is really exciting. And so
it's cool for us.
Yeah, definitely. Like I've always wanted to produce some of my first, this past year we produced our first snow. It was like my first real snow bull snake that I produced, and that was really cool for me. And so anyways, I think there were some other firsts too.
And it's always exciting when you have two snakes that can produce a bunch of different variety. So when you cut those eggs open, you just don't know what you're going to get, really. So it's always fun to see what those are.
Yeah, that's definitely one of the most exciting parts. I think Spencer's seriously been saying for like 2 months now already since they've been down. He's like, man, it's time to breed. Like, we need eggs.
Let's get some eggs, yeah.
No, it's definitely exciting.
It's the best time.
Yeah, even when we get eggs, it's another 2 months after that before we see them hatch. So it is a process. You gotta be patient, but like, that's why we're planning ahead. We're making sure our plans are set. We're being prepared. And anyway, we're just really excited for this year and to continue working with these awesome animals. And so, anyways, that's a little bit of what we're planning to do this year. So thanks for watching. We appreciate it. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you have any questions at all, feel free to drop them in the comments below or send us a message. Make sure you guys like and subscribe, and we'll see you guys next time.
See ya.